Coach, 19-member recruiting class. On paper, this looks like one of your best ones. Just talk about how you feel about this class and what they will add to UNCP football.
Well, overall, like you say, 19 people. Our goal kind of every year is to fill immediate needs and then try to recruit an entire team. I think last year's class was right around 19 as well. This one being all freshmen really meets some specific needs. We graduated 4 starting senior offensive linemen, 5 and 1 as a backup, so 5 total O linemen we graduated. We brought in 4 freshmen. Defensively, we lost a lot of guys last year, did not lose many this year, but we couldn't replace everyone that we lost in last year's senior class. So this is kind of the continuation of that in 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and 3 DBs. And so I think really if you combine this year's and last year's defensive class, extremely solid. And then on the offensive side of the ball, continuing, we lost 2 wide receivers. I think we got 2 really good ones in the 2 that have decided to come play for us. And then we added a couple athletes on the offensive side of the ball, which we're still trying to decide exactly where they're going to play and what position they're going to take for us.
And sort of, I know you have a different focus every year. Some years you just get what the best available is. Some you target different positions every year. What was your focus going into this year?
Well, it was really defense. Defensive line and offensive line were the 2. I think it's the first thing that we looked at when we started to evaluate talent sometime last spring. And we knew that we were going to have some graduating seniors in those spots, and we knew that we were going to have some holes to fill. And so that's really where the focus went. And I think with the 7 guys that we got, we filled those needs. And then, as you say, we're always looking to find, number 1, the right fit for our university, and then the best athlete that we can at that position or at the positions that we're looking at. And linebacker was another, high need position as we went into last season. As you know, Darkus Elliott started as a walk-on freshman linebacker for us last year. So we had to fill a big need there, and with the 4 guys we got committed, we're excited to fill that need.
Now, explain the different types of the process, or different steps of the process, sort of from the beginning, when it begins, what goes into the evaluation process, and then sort of take us along the line as far as the assistant coaches on the road, and then the official visits and the in-home visits.
Sure. No, it's going to get started at the end of this week for next year's class, for 2013. So that's how quickly the turnaround is. We'll start having guys on campus for some of our home basketball games, guys who are in their junior year right now. So our guys do a great job of, when they're finishing up recruiting this class, they're starting to talk to the coaches about next year's class. April and May, we get a chance to go out and visit the high schools and get an opportunity to, get a first transcript, get a first look at guys, get some film. The internet's been great because a lot of the film is up now on the internet, and you can see a lot of guys' junior highlights, so we can start recruiting off of that. And then over the summer, our coaches work a variety of camps, and then we have a one-day camp where we've had a lot of guys that are in this class that we've seen in those camps. And then when the fall comes, we go to a lot of games. Our guys do a great job. My assistant coaches are out watching a ton of games. And then when December 1st comes around, that's our first day to have official contact. We're in a lot of guys' homes. And so it is a full cycle, non-stop recruiting process, and a tremendous amount of hard work. I mean, I don't even know the number of hours, but it's an amazing amount that goes into, this process. To sit here and say we have 19 guys is a tremendous compliment to our assistant coaches and how hard they've worked.
And as I'm sure, and we talked about this beforehand, as I'm sure that the vehicles go through a lot of oil changes during the process. Just talk about, you guys are on the road a lot, beginning once the season's over for the most part, but just talk about how much goes into one kid, particularly in the mountains, or sure. And then what a relief it is that you finally get to actually stay home at night and not go on the road.
No, and I know one vehicle that we have that we use. I mean, we put over 10,000 miles on it from the beginning of November to the end of January. So that just gives you an idea.
Yeah.
That's just one vehicle. We got 5 coaches that are out and about in different vehicles driving around, but we're everywhere, like you say. Jamie Deese has the mountain area, and he's up there, as far as Asheville and Murphy, and then James Miller is over on the coast. I mean, all the way up. As far as the Virginia border. So we'll go anywhere in the state of North Carolina. That's been our focus. Every high school player, except I think for Matt Evans, our first year that we've signed has been from the state of North Carolina. I don't know the total numbers of miles, but there's a ton of them on a lot of these state vehicles on our campus right now.
Now, I'm going to sort of work this, and I know you've already answered this question, but just talk about the official visit process. Obviously, last month was a real busy time for you guys. I want you told me an interesting statistic before we got on here. I want you to talk about that, but to just talk about what the recruits were impressed with, what the parents were impressed with, and what do you think are the main selling points of UNCP?
Well, going back, first off, we did all of our official visits in the month of January. So the last 3 weekends, we brought 14 in the first weekend, and then we brought 7 in the last 2 weekends. So that's really the smallest number we've ever brought in. But we really kind of focused on the guys that we brought in and really tried to do a little more homework and a little more detailed research on them before we came in. We ended up offering 23 of those 28, and we were able to get 19 commitments. So our coaches did a fantastic job in really selecting, evaluating the players. I'll tell you, from a recruit, from a parent, every one of them is just impressed with our campus and really what the town of Pembroke surrounding our campus has. Most are very, very surprised in what they find. And we think it's an ideal college campus. Has everything a college student needs. Got a great campus, great opportunity there to earn a fantastic education. We've got enough. We got a Walmart, we've got a Food Line, we got a Burger King, McDonald's. We got everything you need right around our campus. And then once they come into the Caton Fieldhouse, they realize that our university is very committed to our program and to this football program. But without a doubt, one of the best things we do is our players. And our players get to spend time with the recruits, and then our players get to spend time with the parents. And every parent raves about the type of young men that we have in the program. So I got great coaches, we got great facilities, but I've got a lot of really good young men who represent our team very well.
Now, I'm going to give you your chance, and I know you'd like to praise these guys, and obviously they work hard. Your assistant coaches obviously put in a lot of work in this process, and just talk about the type of work they did, particularly in this recruiting season.
Sure. No, all 5 of our full-time guys, Shane Richardson, Steve Sagne, James Miller, Jamie Deese, O.C. Williams, those guys were on the road a ton, and they put in a tremendous amount of work. And then Blake Yarborough and Jamie Small and Dave Paddock, who's our new student coach, those guys did a lot of the work here. And so without them, this class wouldn't even look anything like it. And a couple guys signed a few more guys than some of the other guys, and I was talking to them as a staff on Monday. They might not have gotten all the guys that they wanted. Some of those guys chose different schools, or we lost some guys late to some 1AA schools, which is happens every year. But the collective hard work of each one of them allowed us to have this group of 19. So I'm very fortunate and blessed to have the guys working for me that I do. Now,
I think a couple glaring stats about this recruiting class. You got 5 All-State guys among the 19, and then to lead into that, once you talk about the athletic abilities of this class, another glaring stat: the size of the offensive linemen that you signed. Obviously, they're gonna plug some holes and open some holes.
Sure.
For our running backs as well.
Yeah, I think the size of our O-line, the size of our D-line are probably 2 of the biggest things that stand out. We've got 3 guys over. Well, 3 of the 4 are over 300. Josh is pretty close, and Josh is the short one, I think, at 6'3", somewhere in there. So we've got some rather large bodies. And then our defensive line, in Ed Hopper being probably one of the biggest guys that we've signed in the defensive line. He moves extremely well. Chris Tyndall from Scotland, Probably tested as well as any defensive lineman for his size that we've had. And then Michael Keck from Grays Creek, really the biggest defensive end probably that we've been able to put on the field. So really excited about the size of both those. And then athletic ability. I think I'm correct in saying this. B.J. Bunn, most receiving yards in the state, and then B.J. Fields at corner, most interceptions in the state. So two kind of rare things. Both those guys were all-state selections. So a really unique mix of who we got in this class. And so it's also might be the most guys just here locally, not counting the Fayetteville area. We always get a couple of guys from the Fayetteville area, but now having two from Scotland, having one from Hoke County, one from Red Springs, Grays Creek. We were fortunate, I think, locally again to be able to get some really, really good football players.
And again, the last question. Obviously, the challenges got bigger this year with UNC Charlotte about to field the team, but North Carolina probably ranks among the most toughest states for Division II schools to recruit in, just because there's a ton of them to recruit against. So talk about the challenges of having so many schools and what comes from that. What do you learn as coaches and things around that matter?
Well, not only has Charlotte started football, but then you got Old Dominion that started football, up in Virginia. And now we've got schools recruiting North Carolina that 6 years ago, didn't even stop into the state. So there's a lot more FCSs recruiting the state of North Carolina than there's ever been. You throw in that, like you mentioned, so many Division II schools that are here, and with Charlotte starting, I'm really proud of a couple guys in our class because they held off some late offers from Charlotte. A couple held off some late offers from A&T. So I'm really excited that the guys who gave us their word that they were going to come here are committed to it and sticking to it. And so, I don't think it's going to get any easier, but our coaches do a great job of finding the right fits for our program.